Italy Revealed. 40 breathtaking places from hidden villages to iconic cities. Italy. The name alone conjures images of impossible beauty. A land where ancient empires built monuments that still stand 2,000 years later. Where Renaissance masters painted humanity's greatest masterpieces. But this is not the Italy of postcards and tour buses. This is not just Rome, Venice, and Florence. Beyond the famous monuments lies another Italy, one carved into cliffs, built on impossible hillsides, painted in colors that seem photoshopped. Today, we journey through 40 extraordinary destinations, from Alpine peaks where Italy touches the sky, to Mediterranean islands where azure waters meet white stone. From north to south, coast to coast, we'll discover why Italy remains Earth's masterpiece. This is Italy Revealed. If you love discovering places that take your breath away, hit that subscribe button. We have 40 incredible Italian locations ahead, and next week, we're revealing Iceland's otherworldly landscapes. Don't miss it. Now, let's explore Italy. Alpine wonders of northern Italy. 1. The Dolomites. We begin in the north, where Italy's border with Austria is marked not by lines on a map, but by mountains that seem pulled from another world. The Dolomites rise like jagged teeth into alpine skies. These UNESCO World Heritage peaks glow pink and orange at sunset, a phenomenon locals call enrosadira. Formed from ancient coral reefs 250 million years ago, these mountains reach heights of over 3,300 meters, offering some of Europe's most dramatic hiking and climbing. Two, Lago di Braies. At the foot of the Dolomites lies Lago di Braies, perhaps the most photographed alpine lake in the world. Its turquoise waters mirror the surrounding peaks with impossible clarity. The lake sits at 1,496 meters elevation, fed by mountain springs that maintain its crystal transparency year-round. Wooden rowboats drift across its surface, creating scenes that belong on canvas rather than in reality. Three, Lake Como. Further west, where the Alps meet Lombardy, Lake Como has seduced travelers for millennia. This Y-shaped glacial lake stretches 46 kilometers, with shores lined by Belle Epoque villas and manicured gardens. Towns like Bellagio and Verona cascade down hillsides, their pastel facades reflected in water so still they seem frozen. George Clooney chose to live here. The Romans built summer retreats here 2,000 years ago. They understood what makes Como eternal, the marriage of mountain grandeur and Mediterranean ease. Four, Cinque Terre. On the Ligurian coast, 5 villages defy gravity and common sense. Cinque Terre translates simply to 5 lands. But there is nothing simple about these settlements. Monterosso, Vernazza, Corniglia, Manarola, and Rio Maggiore cling to sheer cliffs above the Mediterranean, connected by ancient footpaths carved into stone. Houses painted in ochre, pink, and terracotta stack impossibly upon each other. Locals have farmed these vertical terraces for over 1,000 years, cultivating grapes that become the region's famous wine. This is human stubbornness transformed into beauty. Five, Portofino. A few kilometers east lies Portofino, where fishing village charm collides with Italian glamour. This tiny harbor, barely 300 meters across, has been a haven for the wealthy since Roman times. Pastel buildings frame a perfect semicircular bay where fishing boats share space with super yachts. The village itself holds fewer than 500 residents, yet its name echoes across the world as a symbol of Mediterranean perfection. Six, Valle d'Aosta. In Italy's northwest corner, where French and Italian cultures blend, Valle d'Aosta hides among Alpine peaks. This autonomous region hosts over 130 medieval castles and fortresses, remnants of when noble families controlled mountain passes between Italy and France. The Faenus Castle, with its fairy tale turrets and frescoed courtyards, stands as the valley's crown jewel. Monte Bianco, Western Europe's highest peak, dominates the northern horizon at 4,808 meters. Seven, Lake Garda, Italy's largest lake, stretches between Alpine mountains and Mediterranean climate. Lake Garda spans 370 square kilometers, creating its own microclimate where lemon trees and olive groves flourish despite northern latitude. Towns like Sirmione, built on a narrow peninsula, feature Roman ruins and medieval castles emerging from azure waters. The lake's southern shores feel Mediterranean. Its northern fjord-like arms feel Scandinavian. It is Italy's geographic schizophrenia made beautiful. Eight, Verona. Between the lakes and the Adriatic sits Verona, where Shakespeare placed his star-crossed lovers. But Verona's romance predates Romeo and Juliet by millennia. The Roman arena, built in 30 AD, still hosts opera performances for 15,000 spectators. Pink marble palazzi line the Adige River. Medieval towers cast long shadows across piazzas where Dante himself once walked. The famous balcony where Juliet supposedly stood? Pure invention. But in a city this beautiful, fiction and reality blur into something better than either alone. Tuscany, Renaissance heart. 9, Florence. The name requires no explanation. Here in the 15th century, humanity rediscovered itself. Brunelleschi built his impossible dome, still the largest brick dome ever constructed. Michelangelo carved David from a single block of marble. Leonardo painted, Dante wrote. The Medici family bankrolled a cultural revolution that echoes through every museum on Earth. The Arno River flows through the city's heart, crossed by the Ponte Vecchio, a bridge lined with jewelry shops since 1345. Every street corner reveals another masterpiece, another story, another reminder that beauty can change the world. Pisa. 50 kilometers west, Pisa is famous for its failure. The Leaning Tower began tilting during construction in 1173, its foundation too shallow for the soft ground beneath. Engineers have spent 850 years preventing its collapse. Today it leans 3.97 degrees from vertical, a monument to imperfection that draws millions who come to photograph themselves holding it up. But the tower shares its square with a cathedral and baptistry of equal beauty, often ignored in favor of the famous flaw. Siena south of Florence. Siena remains trapped in the Middle Ages and grateful for it. The Piazza del Campo slopes like a seashell, its red brick pavement divided into 9 sections representing the medieval government that ruled here. Twice each summer, the Palio horse race transforms this plaza into medieval chaos, as riders representing different city districts race 3 laps bareback. Gothic palaces lean over narrow streets. The cathedral's striped marble facade dominates the skyline. Siena stopped growing in the 14th century when plague devastated its population, accidentally preserving medieval perfection. San Gimignano. On a Tuscan hilltop, medieval towers pierce the sky like stone needles. San Gimignano once boasted 72 towers, built by noble families competing for height and status. Only 14 survive, but they transformed this small town into a medieval Manhattan, visible from kilometers away across rolling farmland. Walking these streets feels like stepping into a 13th century time machine, complete with wine shops selling Vernaccia, grown here since Roman times. Val d'Orcia. Between Siena and Monte Amiata spreads the valley that defines pastoral Italy. Val d'Orcia's rolling hills, lined with cypress trees and dotted with isolated farmhouses, have been photographed, painted, and filmed so often they've become visual shorthand for Tuscany. Renaissance painters used these landscapes as backgrounds for their masterpieces. The UNESCO-protected valley maintains its Renaissance-era landscape through strict preservation laws. Wheat fields glow gold in June. Sunflowers face east in July. Autumn paints the hills in amber and rust. This is the Tuscany of calendars and dreams, and it exists. Montepulciano. High on a limestone ridge, Montepulciano has made the same wine for 1,000 years. Vino Nobile di Montepulciano ages in cellars beneath Renaissance palaces. The town's main street climbs steeply through 16th century architecture to a central square offering panoramic views across vineyards that stretch to the horizon. Every cellar offers tastings. Every restaurant serves pizzi pasta with wild boar. This is Tuscany at its most essential. "15. Assisi. On the slopes of Monte Subasio, pink stone glows in the afternoon sun. Assisi, birthplace of St. Francis, rises in terraces of medieval architecture. The Basilica of San Francis, with its Giotto frescoes, draws pilgrims and art lovers equally. The town has been a sacred site since Roman times, when a temple to Minerva occupied the main square. Despite tourist crowds, Assisi maintains a meditative calm, as if St. Francis's gentle spirit still permeates these ancient stones. "16. Perugia, capital of Umbria. Perugia sprawls across multiple hills, its Etruscan walls still standing after 2,500 years. The city's medieval core hides beneath centuries of additions. Underground passageways and streets, built over rather than torn down, create a city with archaeology as infrastructure. The University of Perugia, founded in 1308, gives the ancient city a young energy. Every July, Perugia hosts the Umbria Jazz Festival, filling medieval piazzas with modern rhythms. "17. Orvieto. On a volcanic plateau, Orvieto rises 300 meters above the valley floor, a natural fortress turned medieval city. The cathedral's facade, covered in mosaics and marble, took 300 years to complete. Below the city, over 1,000 caves and tunnels honeycomb the volcanic tuff, used for everything from Etruscan tombs to wine storage to bomb shelters. The city's isolation on its plateau preserved it from modern expansion, maintaining its medieval silhouette. "18. Civita di Bagnoregio. At the end of a pedestrian bridge, a dying town refuses to disappear. Civita di Bagnoregio, founded by Etruscans 2,500 years ago, sits on a pinnacle of volcanic clay that erodes steadily away. The only access is a 300-meter footbridge. Fewer than 10 people live here year-round. Yet Civita endures, called the Dying City, but somehow never dying. Medieval houses line narrow streets. A church from the 5th century still holds Mass. In winter fog, the town floats like an island in clouds, disconnected from the modern world. It is Italy's most beautiful ghost, haunting its own present. Rome and Lazio. Eternal monuments. 19. Rome. Caput Mundi, the eternal city. Where do you begin with a city that contains 28 centuries of continuous habitation? The Colosseum. where 50,000 Romans once watched gladiators, still stands as the largest amphitheater ever built. The Pantheon's dome, completed in 128 AD, remains the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome. The Trevi Fountain collects 3,000 euros daily in coins from tourists, ensuring their return. The Vatican, technically its own country, holds treasures including the Sistine Chapel ceiling, where Michelangelo spent 4 years on his back, creating humanity's most famous artwork. Rome contains so many layers of history that construction projects routinely uncover archaeological sites, delaying progress for months or years. The subway system has only 2 complete lines because digging inevitably hits something Roman or medieval or Renaissance. This is a city where past and present occupy the same space, where ancient temples sit beside baroque churches, sit beside modern cafes, all coexisting in organized chaos that somehow works. Tivoli. 30 kilometers east of Rome, water becomes art. Villa d'Este, built in the 16th century, features over 500 fountains powered entirely by gravity. The gardens cascade down the hillside in terraces of hydraulic engineering disguised as beauty. The Fountain of Neptune shoots water 30 meters into the air without pumps or motors. Nearby, Hadrian's Villa sprawls across 120 hectares, the retirement palace of Rome's philosopher-emperor, now romantic ruins among pine trees. Let me ask you something. Are you subscribed yet? We're building a collection of Earth's most extraordinary places, and you're invited to every single journey. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications right now. You won't regret it. Lago di Bolsena. In northern Lazio, a volcanic crater filled with water creates Italy's 5th largest lake. Lago di Bolsena occupies a caldera left by a volcanic eruption 370,000 years ago. Medieval towns ring the perfectly circular lake. 2 islands rise from its center, one home to a monastery, the other to a small village accessible only by boat. The lake's volcanic origin gives its waters exceptional clarity and supports a unique ecosystem. Viterbo, northwest of Rome. Viterbo has offered hot springs since Etruscan times. The city of popes hosted papal elections in the 13th century, but locals have always valued its thermal baths more than its religious significance. Free public pools of naturally heated water reaching 58 degrees Celsius steam beside medieval walls. The entire province sits on geothermal fields, creating dozens of thermal springs where Romans have sought healing waters for 2,000 years. Amalfi Coast, vertical paradise. 23. Naples. Naples explodes with life, noise, and contradictions. This is Italy unfiltered, where laundry hangs between ancient buildings, where Vesuvius dominates every view, where pizza was invented and perfected. The city's historic center, the largest in Europe, contains 27 centuries of continuous occupation. Neapolitan pizza, with its soft crust and simple toppings, set the standard copied worldwide. The San Gennaro Cathedral holds the blood of the city's patron saint, which supposedly liquefies 3 times yearly in what believers call a miracle and scientists call a mystery. Naples is beautiful and chaotic, refined and rough, impossible to understand and impossible to forget. '24, Pompeii. On August 24th, 79 AD, time stopped in Pompeii. Vesuvius erupted with such force that volcanic ash buried the entire city in hours, preserving it like a snapshot. When excavations began in 1748, archaeologists discovered a Roman city frozen at the moment of its destruction. Bakeries still have bread in their ovens. Graffiti covers walls. Ruts from chariot wheels mark stone streets. Plaster casts of victims show their final moments. Pompeii offers an unfiltered window into daily Roman life, purchased at the cost of 2,000 lives. '25. Positano carved into a cliff face. Positano defies reason and gravity. Houses painted in white, pink, and terracotta stacked vertically from the beach to the hilltop, connected by stairs rather than streets. Bougainvillea cascades from balconies. Small boats bob in the azure bay below. Positano became famous in the 1950s when John Steinbeck wrote about its impossible beauty. Today it remains one of Earth's most photographed villages, a place where human architecture enhances rather than diminishes natural splendor. Every angle offers another postcard, another reason to question whether places this beautiful should exist. '26. Amalfi. The town that gave its name to this legendary coast sits at the mouth of a deep ravine. Amalfi's cathedral, with its Arab Norman architecture and striped facade, dominates the small piazza that serves as the town's heart. Once a powerful maritime republic rivaling Venice and Genoa, Amalfi controlled Mediterranean trade routes in the 11th century. Today, it's the coast's commercial center, smaller than its fame suggests, but no less beautiful. The Amalfi Coast Road, carved into cliffs above the sea, offers 50 kilometers of hairpin turns and impossible views, considered one of the world's most scenic drives. '27. Capri. In the Bay of Naples, limestone cliffs rise from impossibly blue waters. Capri has seduced travelers since Roman times, when Emperor Tiberius built a dozen villas here and ruled the empire from this island paradise. The Blue Grotto, a sea cave where sunlight creates electric blue reflections, has been drawing visitors for centuries. The Faraglioni, 3 rock formations rising from the sea, have become the island's symbol. The Piazzetta, Capri town's tiny main square, has been called the world's most beautiful living room. Despite crowds and prices that rival Monaco, Capri maintains its allure through sheer beauty. '28. Matera. In Basilicata, humans have lived in caves for 9,000 years. Matera's Sassi districts feature houses carved directly into limestone cliffs. Until the 1950s, up to 15,000 people lived in these cave dwellings, often sharing space with livestock. The government forcibly relocated them, declaring the Sassi slums. Then perspective shifted. UNESCO declared Matera a World Heritage Site. Careful restoration transformed the Sassi into hotels, restaurants, and homes. Mel Gibson filmed The Passion of the Christ here because Matera still looks biblical. From embarrassment to treasure, Matera's story is redemption carved in stone. '29. Alberobello. In Puglia's Valle d'Itria, a town of stone mushrooms defies explanation. Alberobello's truly round houses with conical roofs number over 1,500 in the town center. Built using a corbelled dry stone technique with limestone slabs stacked without mortar, truly date back to the 14th century. Legend says they were designed to be quickly dismantled to avoid taxation, though historians dispute this. Today, truly serve as homes, shops, restaurants, and hotels, are architectural style found nowhere else on Earth. '30. Lecce. At the heel of Italy's boot, Baroque architecture explodes in golden limestone. Lecce's soft local stone, pietra leccese, allowed sculptors to create ornate facades of almost excessive detail. Churches and palaces drip with carved angels, fruits, and flowers. The entire city became a Baroque stage set in the 17th century. Called the Florence of the South, Lecce combines Baroque excess with Greek and Roman ruins, all gilded in warm southern light. '31. Polignano a Mare, a town balanced on a cliff with a beach inside a cave beneath it. Polignano a Mare's historic center perches on a limestone outcrop 20 meters above the Adriatic. Below, Lama Monachile Beach sits sheltered inside a natural arch. Restaurants have terraces suspended over sheer drops to the sea. Red Bull holds its cliff diving competition here, with athletes jumping from 27-meter platforms into turquoise waters between ancient rocks. '32. Tropea. On Calabria's Tyrrhenian coast, another clifftop town guards some of Italy's best beaches. Tropea sits high on volcanic rock, its medieval center connected to Santa Maria dell'Isola, a sanctuary perched on a rock outcropping above the sea. Below, beaches of fine white sand meet water so clear you can see fish from the surface. The Calabrian coast remains less developed than its northern rivals, offering Italy's beach experience without the crowds. Red onions grow in nearby fields, sweet enough to eat raw, exported across Italy. This is the Italy locals keep for themselves, the Italy where beauty doesn't require fame. Islands, Italy's scattered jewels. 33 to 34. Sicily, Taormina, and Valley of the Temples. Sicily, the Mediterranean's largest island, contains 25 centuries of invasion, occupation, and cultural fusion. Taormina's Greek theater, built in the 3rd century BC, frames Mount Etna in its natural backdrop, creating what Garda called the greatest work of art and nature. Performances still happen in this ancient space. Near Agrigento, the Valley of the Temples preserves some of the best Greek ruins outside Greece. These temples, built when Sicily was part of Magna Graecia, have stood for 2,500 years, golden limestone glowing in afternoon light. Sicily's cuisine, architecture, and culture reflect Greek, Roman, Arab, Norman, and Spanish influences, creating something uniquely Sicilian. Trentacinque, Scala dei Turchi. On Sicily's southern coast, white marl creates natural stairs into the sea. Scala dei Turchi, Stair of the Turks, is a cliff formation of blindingly white marl and limestone, shaped by wind and water into smooth step terraces. Against turquoise Mediterranean waters, it looks artificial, impossible, like a staircase carved by giants. The name references Saracen pirates who used these stairs to raid inland towns, though today's invaders are tourists seeking photos. "36. Aeolian Islands. North of Sicily, 7 volcanic islands rise from the Tyrrhenian Sea. The Aeolian archipelago includes Stromboli, an active volcano that erupts every 15 to 20 minutes in harmless bursts of lava, called the lighthouse of the Mediterranean for its nighttime glow. Lipari, the largest island, has been continuously inhabited for 6,000 years. Panarea attracts the jet set. Volcano offers therapeutic mud baths. Each island maintains its own character while sharing volcanic origins and dramatic beauty. "37 to 38. Sardinia, Cala Golorizze, and Costa Smeralda. West of Italy's boot, Sardinia guards the Mediterranean's clearest waters. Cala Golorizze, accessible only by boat or demanding hike, features water so transparent it seems unreal. A 143-meter limestone pinnacle rises beside the beach, a natural monument in an amphitheater of cliffs. Further north, the Costa Smeralda offers Caribbean-quality beaches in the Mediterranean. Developed in the 1960s as a luxury resort area, its beaches face waters in every shade of blue and green imaginable, hence Emerald Coast. Sardinia maintains its own language, culture, and cuisine, more independent island nation than Italian region. "39. Venice. Finally, we return to the city built on water, the impossible city, the city that shouldn't exist. Venice rises from 118 islands connected by over 400 bridges. No cars, no roads, only canals, gondolas, and the sound of water lapping against marble palaces. Built by merchants who chose safety over convenience, Venice became Europe's richest city for 1,000 years. Now it sinks millimeters annually while tourists flood its narrow streets. But at dawn, before crowds arrive, Venice reveals its magic. Light reflecting off water onto ancient buildings, creating a city that seems to float between earth and sky. Forte Burano. In the Venetian lagoon, fishermen painted their houses in the brightest colors imaginable so they could find home through fog. Burano's houses, shocking pink, electric blue, bright yellow, lime green, create a village that looks like a rainbow exploded. Every building must be painted in specific approved colors, maintaining a tradition centuries old. Verona also produces some of the world's finest lace, a craft requiring such precision and time that individual pieces can take months to complete. This is our 40th place, and perhaps the most joyful, a village that turned practical necessity into art, proving once more that Italy makes beauty from everything it touches. Conclusion: why Italy never ends. 40 places, from Alps to Mediterranean, from ancient ruins to living cities, from famous landmarks to hidden villages. But these 40 barely scratch the surface. We haven't touched Umbria's hill towns, or the Lakes District's other waters, or Emilia-Romagna's culinary capital of Bologna, or countless small towns whose names you've never heard, but whose beauty rivals anywhere on this list. Italy contains more UNESCO World Heritage Sites than any other country, 58 at last count. But the true treasure isn't in monuments or museums. It's in the way Italians live with beauty as their everyday reality. It's in how 3,000 years of history inform but don't paralyze the present. This is why Italy never ends. Why you can return a dozen times and discover something new. Why travelers have been coming here for millennia and will continue for millennia more. Italy isn't just places. It's proof that humans, when they try, can create civilization worth celebrating. If these 40 places moved you, imagine what the rest hold. Subscribe to Travel Earth Adventures. We're just beginning this journey around our extraordinary planet. Until next time, keep exploring.